Welcome to the podcast, everyone. My name is Frank Laudas, and you're listening to Iceland's Best, or you're watching it on YouTube. And you already know this because you tuned in, and I thank you. Today, we are talking about Icelandic hamburgers and Icelandic hot dogs. So, just jumping right in, if you're planning on going to Iceland and you're talking to somebody who's already been here, a lot of times they'll tell you, go here, go there, do this, do that. But they almost all the time they'll tell you, get an Icelandic hot dog because they're different. And they're not wrong. And Icelandic people will tell you the same thing. When you meet an Icelandic person in another country and you tell them that you're going to Iceland, they'll say, you have to get an Icelandic hot dog and you have to order it with everything. You say, eitt með öllum. So that means one with everything. So they tell you to get a hot dog and they tell you how to order a hot dog. And then they tell you how to say one with everything. It's a true story. At any rate, so that's what you want to do. You want to get the hot dog with everything. But to me, I'll tell you, what's most important is the flavor of the hot dog. So Icelandic hot dogs are different. They're unique. So I'll say, for example, in the US, hot dogs are made with either pork or beef or both. Okay. In Iceland, the SS Pizza, it's a specific brand, Vinarpilsa, and I'll go into that in just a second. But it is made with lamb, pork, and beef, and it has a little bit of a smoky flavor, and it's super delicious. So if you get a hot dog like me, I like mustard. All right, so I'm a mustard purist. And Icelandic mustard is a little bit different. Icelandic mustard is sweet. All the Scandinavian mustards are sort of similar. They have their own recipe, and they're all sweet. Icelandic mustard, no different. It is sweet. So just go into it knowing that, and you know that ketchup is sweet. So I like to get it with just mustard, and sometimes I get crazy. So I'm getting ahead of myself again. One with everything is mustard, ketchup, remoulade, raw onions, and fried onions. Those 5 things. Okay. So you get one with, now I get it with just mustard, sometimes raw onions and fried onions, depending on if I have to talk to somebody, in very near future after I have that hot dog. Or, get it with whatever you like. If you're a weirdo and you like ketchup, just get it with ketchup on your hot dog. No offense to weirdos that like ketchup on their hot dogs. Or just however you like it, just the remoulade. Maybe, and the remoulade is just like, I don't know, normal remoulade. I'm not a big remoulade guy. It's basically mayonnaise and mustard, I believe. And sometimes you have like relish in it, but this one doesn't have the relish. I don't know. Anyways, get one with everything. It's delicious. Now, I don't think they do it anymore, but there was a certain gas station chain in Iceland, and they offered potato salad on their hot dogs. And man, I used to love that, man. That was my favorite thing to get, man. Like after being downtown, and you go downtown and, you've been doing some drinking or whatever. And, like there's always, you got a designated driver, you get a taxi. If there's a designated driver, they always stop at the gas station and get something, on the way home. So it's like, let's get hot dogs. You don't wait in the line downtown. You go to the gas station, get a hot dog, and you get one with that potato salad on it. Oh, delicious. I'll digress. So SS is the main company that makes hot dogs. SS, it brings about memories of of World War II, whatever. But it means Sláturfélag Suðurlands, which means the Butchers Association, basically. So roughly translated, Slaughter Association, Suðurlands means the Southland. So anyways, the Butchers Association of the South of Iceland, basically. So fun fact, there was that. So you had the SS, and they've been in business since 1907. So that was way before, the whole debacle and during World War II and all that. And there's a whole nother story about the shipping company Aimskip, and they used to use the Nordic sun symbol, which most people recognize as a swastika. And it was on the top of a building right down at the port. But it wasn't, they weren't using it as a swastika. It's the Nordic sun symbol. And during World War II, a certain person who shall remain nameless adopted that symbol, and it became a symbol of hate. So it's no longer, they no longer use that because it's a tainted symbol, so they don't use it anymore. Anyways, so back to the hot dogs. Get one with everything. Now, I said all that to say this. The real star of this conversation is the Icelandic hamburger, okay? So underrated. Nobody ever says, when you go to Iceland, get an Icelandic hamburger. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, when you go to Iceland, get an Icelandic hamburger, okay? And you can get them, you can get them anywhere. And what's unique about the Icelandic hamburger are the toppings. Now, the toppings, usually hamburger, lettuce, tomato, onion, some kind of like mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, some kind of hamburger sauce mixture. Every restaurant chain has their signature hamburger topping recipe. The Big Mac is the lettuce and the sauce and the pickles and the dehydrated onions. It's delicious. And 3 pieces of bread, toasted. Everybody has their signature, flavor profile. Now in Iceland, the thing that's different about Icelandic hamburgers, you'll get one and it's bread, it's the meat, it's the sauce, lettuce, tomato, onions, cucumber, and bell pepper. That's the kicker, the cucumber and the bell pepper. I gotta say, when I first came to Iceland, my cousins took me out for lunch and we went to a place called Hrúi Huttur, and that means Robin Hood in Icelandic. And it was just, it was a pizza and burger and fries kind of restaurant. You go in there and get pizza, pizza, burger, fries, whatever. So we go in there for burgers and they order the burgers. I'm sitting at the table, they bring it, and they could not wait, to see the expression on my face because they knew it was different. They knew that like in the US, they don't put, cucumbers and bell pepper on the hamburger. And now, you go anywhere, like there's all kinds of stuff that people put on hamburgers now. It's endless. But I'm saying for a traditional burger, it's something you wouldn't expect. Something I certainly didn't expect. And so, and another thing about Iceland, people eat and they probably do the same thing in the rest of Europe. They eat their burgers with a knife and fork. So burger, they take the knife and flip the crown of the crown bun off, boop, and then they dig right into it, and then knife and fork. And so anyway, so we get these burgers, and it's like, what's going on with the cucumbers and the green pepper? And they were like, just try it, you're gonna love it. And then I tried it, and I gotta say, I'm a fan. I'm on board. I really, the cucumber and the bell pepper bring a freshness to it that is just over the top. It's really, really good. Be a little bit open-minded and get you one. You definitely have to get it when you come to Iceland. So now the place to get it, now I'm not being paid by anybody and I'm not promoting one place over another, but there's a restaurant called American Style. Surprisingly enough, if you want to get a very traditional Icelandic hamburger, you got to go to a restaurant called American Style. All right. I said it there. Anyways, they have it. And, and I'll say Robin Hood no longer exists. I'm not sure, not in the capacity that it used to be, or the restaurant, the location that I used to go to is now long gone. But American Style still exists, and you can get a burger and then the hamburger sauce is I feel like it's also unique to Iceland. It's they have their own spin on the recipe. Hamburger sauce is usually the same. It's usually mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, wherever you go, and in some sort of iteration. But here it's that. I think they add paprika to it. Now, so there's American Style. There's another, these gas stations that have like Grill 66, and they have what my wife and I would call always sweaty burgers. So it's the same recipe burger, and it's wrapped in tin foil. And by the time you get to take a bite out of it, it's warm and it's a little moist and sweaty, but it's delicious and it's salty. It's crazy salty. So good. You get them downtown on the food truck on a Thursday, Friday, because Thursday's a new Friday. Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, when you're downtown, or any night of the week, actually. There's a place, I mentioned the Grill 66, American Style. There's a place called Aktu Taktu, and basically it's a drive-through or sit-down little fast food restaurant, and you can get those Icelandic style hamburgers. And also, there's the sjoppa. You know, the sjoppa deserves its whole own little segment or podcast on the sjoppa. It's something that's actually disappearing from Iceland. There used to be a lot of them, and it's basically like a corner store. You know, you got your little neighborhood store. You go in, and it's called the sjoppa, and you can get everything from like a liter of milk to cigarettes or any kind of little food item in between. But the star of the sjoppa is the grill. So you can get a grilled cheese sandwich. You can get one of those little. You can get an Icelandic burger, some fries. You can get a hot dog. And then they have like a whole counter. They have soft serve ice cream, and then they have like a whole case of Icelandic candy, like loose candy, where you get loose candy in a bag. And it's called, you get a nami polka. Blanda polka means a blended bag of candy. Nami means candy. Poki means bag. Blanda nama poki. Still, I didn't pronounce that correctly, but anyways, this is what it is, and it's very specific to Iceland. I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn, and we used to have these little corner stores. And if you're from Brooklyn, if you're from New York, Boston, Jersey, Philly, you have these bodegas or these corner stores, and that's basically what it is. It's a local store. So, and with food, so you could get those at the sjoppa. Now, when I first came here 20 years ago, there were a lot of them, little neighborhood stores, and they just seem to be disappearing. There's still a few left in Iceland. You can go and get, and go in there and get yourself a burger, a hot dog, and get some ice cream, and get a little bag of candy and take it with you. And it's still going. It's still going. Now, I'm going to double back and say something about hot dogs. Now, in the U.S., you get a pack of hot dogs, and there's 6 hot dogs in the pack, and then in the pack of buns, there's 8 buns. It's always a mismatch. It's never the same amount of hot dogs in the pack and hot dogs and hot dog buns in the bag. Never the same. Well, here in Iceland, it's not that way. You get a pack of hot dogs, there's 5 hot dogs in the pack, and in the buns, and there's 5 hot dog buns. Sorted and done. Thank you, Iceland. My goodness. There was a movie with Steve Martin years ago, and he was having some problems in his personal life, and he went to get hot dogs, and he flips out in the grocery store because they wasn't the same. And I remember coming to Iceland, and that was one of the first time going to buy hot dogs and buns. I was like, what? There's the same amount of hot dogs and buns? Huh? Like, genius.